recording and share my screen. Okay, so what we have done was we have created a material master yesterday. Hi Radhika. Radhika, can you hear me? Okay. So we were discussing about the material master. Yesterday I did created a material master with some basic fields data. So we have maintained basic data views. We have maintained something called purchasing view. We have maintained MRP 1, 2, 3, 4 views. Okay. Um, this is how, based on the user requirement, you can maintain the data in the material master. Like I said, so when you try to create the material master data, all right, there are two things which you will be giving in the beginning. As you can see here, there are two means of grouping materials, the highest level by industry sector and the next by material type. Like I said, all your materials, we have already discussed this, all your materials are grouped, or rather I would say divided based on the industry sector to which they belongs to and the material type to which under which they grouped in. So these groupings pre-select what data is required or available for a material master. Like when you go and create a material master MM01, if you go with this, now basically what you are doing here, you are selecting mechanical engineering or some other industry sector, and let's say based on raw material, for example. Okay, once you go with click, now you see the views. These are dependent on the industry sector and material type. So you need to remember this one, so which we have already discussed it. And then there is something like a material type can control various things. It controls more than 10-12 parameters that we will see it in when we actually go with material master configuration. And then there is something called material enhancements, which is like, let me show you the material master creation. I think we have created one material with the name something as rare wheel tire yesterday. You see, this is what we call it as a material ID. You can have your own format also, that is possible. And also, yesterday we were discussing about the description, the length of the description, which is normally 42 character, but can be extended up to 70 or 72 character. So these are called enhancements. Okay, so maintenance of long text, usability enhancements. Usability enhancement means for whatever requirement or for whatever reasons, if you want to have a new field into the material master, you can add one, right? And material master data maintenance during goods movement, reference handling. So all these things you can do enhancements. Now let's have a look at this screen. This screen will give you a complete picture of material master. You see here in the initial screen, right? When you go with MM01, let me once again show you. I'll go and create one more material. Let's say MM01, right? Yesterday we have created one material, right? This is called rare wheel tire. I wanted to create a new material with reference to the existing material. So instead of rear wheel tire, I would say front wheel tire. Possible, right? So this is what we call it as creating a new material with reference to the existing material. So go with enter. Now let's say remove the sales views. Okay, add purchasing, and then for example general plan data 1 and 2. Okay, MRP, add MRP views also, and then accounting view, something like this. You hit enter. Okay, Okay, so now let's go and see how to do configurations. Now once again let me start with material master creation. Now you see here, when you go with MM01 creation of material master, you have seen, like, the material number that you may see here in the material field can be generated internally, or it could be, system may generate internally, or the user can give it externally. And also, like I said, industry sector and material type, these are the ones which separate the materials at highest level. So if you go into this drop down, you could see different types of, the industries. You have got around 10, 11 entries over here. How have they come here? They have been maintained in the configurations. Same is the case with material types. You may see here some 20, 30. All these things SAP has configured some of them, and people like you, me, whoever is working on the system, they have developed their own material types. Okay, so let me choose, for example, mechanical engineering material type as raw material. If I choose raw material, look at here, and if I hit enter, you see here there are different views, or what we call it as tab pages appearing. Of course, some of them got selected. We will see how they got selected. But if you look at here, there are certain views which are in some sequence. How is that sequence is coming? For example, when you are working for an implementation project, you need to create something called screen sequence. What does it mean, the screen sequence? The sequential order in which the screens to be appeared whenever you create a material master or a change or a display a material master. That is called screen sequence. Now, we are going to work with screen sequence in today's class. Look at this. Let me go into a new session, SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Okay, so here I'll go with something called material master configurations. Since material master is central master record for all the logistic modules, you have to go to logistics general, where you see something called material master. Okay, you see here material master. Go into this, and this is where the first 5 nodes, okay, first 5 nodes up to tools, these are important, or even not the fourth one that much important, but the first 4 nodes are very important for a person working in the MM implementation project, especially the guy who is setting up the material master. Always remember, if your material master configurations is not proper, all your business transactions in purchasing and in inventory management, they go and keep ranking. So therefore, while creating configurations or while setting up material master configurations, you have to do everything in a proper manner. Now, let me go with configuring material master. So if you look at here, there is something called quick guide. This is a 24-page document. Okay, I read it many a times when I started my career. So I request you all to go through this document. Okay, it's a 24 document, very useful document. This will tell you everything about material master configuration. What is that required? What do you want to set up material masters? What is data screen? What is sub screen? Okay, so all those things, what is what we call it screen sequence, what is sequence number, what is screen number, all those things you will have it over here. So this guide description or information about how to set up material master, you please read yourself. I will actually go through the configurations. First one, define the structure of data screens for each of the screen sequence. You see here, when I went with MM01, whatever the screens that you see in the sequential order, like basic data 1, data 2, classification, something, What's happening? Is the password got changed or what? Moment. I thought I'm typing properly. I was busy
Okay.
yesterday. I'll do it today. Okay, so let's go with the material master configurations and complete them now. I think if I remember correctly, what we have done yesterday was we have done with the screen field selection properties, and I think we went up to here basic settings. We have seen the output format for the material numbers, and then did we went with make global settings. Did we discussed about this one? All right. If not, this is nothing but sometimes for some of the materials, especially the imported ones, you will get a drawing of the material or the component. Let's say if you are importing from a certain vendor, you will get engineering drawing for those components. In case if you want a certain, the document to be associated with the material, we use this one. But otherwise, it has no significance. That's the only requirement where engineering drawings etc. can be assigned to the material. And then there is another transaction, that is OMSY, the transaction code which I've already gone through. This is that one, maintain company codes for material management. So here I would have shown you for your company code what is the current year, what is the current month. What's our company code? 777, right? So you could see here for this particular company code, current year is 2012, and you see here period is, means current month is 5, of course, which is not correct, but until yesterday it is 5. Current year, this year, last month, this is 4. When the current month is 5, obviously the previous month is 4. I told you this, you have to do it immediately after completing the organization structure, but before creating any master data entry, right? So you can do this one. So this we have already discussed it. And then the most important of all these things within the basic settings is material types. Okay, so when you go here, you can define your own material types. I guess Pavitra, yesterday you were asking me, can we, or are we going to create our own material types? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, right. So we are now going to create our own material type, for which you have to go into material types and then here go with define attributes of material types. Okay, so let me just open this file as usual. Here, now you tell me which material type you wanted to create. Would you want me to create? You want me to create our own raw material, or let me start the recording 1 second. I'm taking it to SPRO once again. Let's try to complete the material master configuration today. I think yesterday we were setting up our own material type. Um, GMRO. I think that's what we have tried to creating. Okay, so let me go to Material Master once again and see what has been done. Under basic settings, we were discussing about attributes of material types. We have defined our own material type, that is GMRO. Okay, so I think we have completed this part, isn't it? And then we went into, okay, we are about to create, or we are about to work with special transactions or special create transactions based on the material types. Okay, so that is, you see, for example, if you want to create a material master, what do? You go with /o mm01. So with this way, you can see here in the material master initial screen, that is creation screen, you can choose the industry sector, be it manufacturing or mechanical engineering industry. You can choose your material type, isn't it? You can choose your material type, something like this. For example, if I have to create a raw material, okay, listen carefully. If I have to create a raw material, I have to choose raw material type as raw material, which I don't require, isn't it? Okay, if I have to create a raw material, I need not have to specify that, I'm going to create a raw material. My why my basic intention is to create a raw material. So therefore, I need not have to say raw material. Similarly, if I have to create a semi-finished material, I need not have to say semi-finished here. There are certain special transaction codes. If you use them, you need not have to specify which material type are you going to create it. Now, look at here. /o means open in a new session. Transaction code MMR1. I wanted to create raw material only. If I go and hit enter, now you see, do you see similarities between this and this screen? Can you see my screen? You see here, one is MMR1, the other transaction is MM01. Do you see any similarities here? Let me just refresh the screen also. Yeah? Do you see any similarities?
Yeah, there is no this middle type is not there.
Exactly. The create special transaction codes, okay, here, let me just type it as create special transactions, okay, create special transactions. Under this, I am going to use I would say x1, right? So here, x is a variable. What is x? It could be r, right? I would say x could be r, okay, raw material. X could be, x may be, okay, let me put it here itself. X could be r, raw material. Let me type it this way. X could be r, raw material, or it could be S, semi-finished material, okay, or it could be F, which is finished, okay. So something like this. So that means what? If I am going to use MMR1, stands for create raw material, okay. If I am going to use MMS1, that is nothing but create semi-finished material. If I am going to use MMF1, it's going to be create finished material, right? How will the system?
Good morning.
Thank you. Let's start with the configurations. Ideally, this is supposed to take only 3 classes, but because of not having power continuously or whatever reasons we were not able to complete it in 3 classes. Okay, so I think last time what we were doing was we have discussed about message types. Okay, and what else are we doing? The material master, under basic settings, define attributes of system messages. So this is what we have done. I think we have changed um, what you call the attribute of the message for the standard price control. In case if you have a standard price control, yes, in the material master the value should be maintained. Unless you maintain the value in the material master, system will throw another message. I think that's the one that we have maintained. So like that you can convert any message, an information or informative or warning message into another message, or if the business doesn't want a hard error, you can convert that hard error into warning message, or if the business doesn't want to see a certain message at all, you can suppress the message. And here is the control for all those stuff. Right? So once we complete the basic settings, we will then go ahead with settings for key fields. So here, let's go and define our own material groups. I think Pavitra, a couple of days back, you have asked me, can we create our own material groups? Did you remember that question?
So Venkat, before we go over there, how
Yes,
we
sir.
can how we can have our custom messages can be put on? Because so far, whatever you have seen, we have seen standard messages, correct?
Correct.
So
Let me show you this. So how to have our own custom messages? That's the first question. So what you have to do, sir, is obviously this is not your job. Your ABAPer will create our own custom messages using transaction code SC91. Where will they be available? You could see here above workbench, under here overview, development, um, user interface. No, this is not user interface. Programming environment. You see here under programming environment, SC91 is the transaction code to create our own messages. If I remember correctly, yesterday also I was trying to create my own message class or application area. So like this, you can create your own application area or a message class. Okay, so like this, you go and create your own message class or application area. Of course, you have to give the package name as well, and then you start creating message numbers. Ideally, they will be creating all these things. For example, let me copy the message class. Okay, to message from message class Venkat. Okay, now reverse. Let's say I wanted to have a certain thing. I'll go and you see here message class. I'll rename it as Venkat. Okay. Now you see here you give the package name also as Venkat. Does not exist. So therefore package needs to be created first. You create it, you create the package, and then you go and create your own messages. For example, yesterday we have got this 128 message, right? To display it, right? So here, like this, you will have so many things. Similarly, what you can do is you can ask your ABAPer to create a specific message, and that message needs to be maintained in this table. You see here, this table, T100, and T100 is the table where we keep all the messages. Once you have that message in the table, SE16 T100. Okay, this is the one which contains all the messages. Language English. If you can go, you could see here 6,25,379 messages available in the system. Okay, it's not only meant for SAP MM but for all the modules.